Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to the day 2 of our amazing Odoo experience. Hopefully it has been informative sessions for you guys so far, and I'm sure the rest of the events will be great for all of us here too. For this session today, we are going to be talking about how we can navigate China's digital landscape and how Odoo has been empowering international businesses in China. Before we start, a quick few words about myself. My name is Rebecca Lee. I'm a team leader from Odoo APAC office. So for the past 4 years, I've been working very closely with our partnership ecosystem and network across Asia Pacific and for China especially. Here we also have my email address, so if you want to connect after the presentation, feel free to drop me a message and we can discuss further. Last but not the least, please keep in mind to also scan the QR code. So during the presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to write on the pad and we can address them accordingly after the session. Okay, when it comes to China, I have a lot of international customers or sometimes international offices that within our Odoo office will come to me and have a lot of concerns or confusions. Well, you guys are Belgium software, currently with a legal entity in Hong Kong, but no legal entity in China. Does it work? Well, I heard there is a 5% penalty if I'm not adhering to the Chinese regulation of how I host my data. So what do I do? And what do I have to keep in mind in order for my business and ERP system to actually operate in this market when I don't really understand too much of it? So I will simply tell my customer one fact, that China has one of the biggest user base of Odoo. And they will go, oh really? How are you guys doing that? And what are the customers that you guys have been working with in the past? Just this morning, Fabian has updated that we have 16 million users globally. And if I ask you guys to take a guess of how many of them are from China or based in China, what's the number gonna be? 5,000? 100,000? 1 million? The most up-to-date number is we have 2.9 million users in China. This is amazing achievement that we have been having, and this is truly proving that we are very popular in this market as well. We work, and we not only work, we work very well, and we are working with an extremely strong and collective partner ecosystem in this market. So, seems like it's working and it's working well, then why is China so special? Why people have so many questions about how it works? Well, we are the second largest economy globally, and it's a very dynamic market because the ecosystem, sometimes how we process information, collect information can be a little bit different than international users or international customers. And last but not the least, one big question that some of my customers will have is about data compliance in China. So how does it work? What are my hosting options and what do I have to consider to choose the right path? When it comes to China data compliance framework, there are a few things we have to know. First of all is what are the core laws and regulations that has been in place. So the first one we introduced was in 2017, and it's called cybersecurity law. Essentially, what it means is that if you are a network operator, you have to categorize your security levels and have protective measures in place accordingly. In 2021, we also introduced data security law. So what it means is for companies and your business data, we will have to classify and do data grading to define your relevance to national security and public interest. And from there, we'll classify if you hold important data, core data, or something else. Last but not the least, we also have personal information protection law that was introduced in 2021. So this is also on top of the first two we just introduced, and it's Chinese version equivalent of European GDPR. So not only how we regulate business data, we also have to decide how we collect and process personal information to protect personal interests. However, today we are not here to trying to study the laws and 100 pages of how it works. Essentially, what we want to know is what do business have to know and what are the key principles that come with these regulations. So principle number one is for businesses, when we go through data classification and grading, we will have to define which part of it will fall under the category of important data. And if you do obtain such data sets, we might have additional or a more strict regulation of how it works, or whether it can be transferred overseas or across the border. We also have cross-border data transfer. So again, if you have important data, we will have to assess which part of it can be going overseas and which part of it have to strictly be hosted within the mainland border. We also have sector-specific rules. So if you're working with telecommunication, big financial operators, or public health and interests, then yeah, we might have additional regulations in place as well. But one keyword that you will keep hearing is important data, important data, important data. So the next question would be, what is important data? Can you give me a quick examples and how do I understand it or interpret it? So when it comes to important data, of course, if you have anything that's relevant to national security, economic operations, social stability, public health or safety, that it will be classified as important data. And some more concrete examples that I'll be giving you guys would be, if you have any information that's currently undisclosed, you cannot find anywhere else, but it contains information with China's water, land, airspace, then yes, it will be classified as important data. Or if you have obtained such an accurate geographical location in your company that might pose China with the risk of other countries launching military attacks, then yeah, of course, it will be classified as important data because it will be relevant to our national security. Or if you're simply Bank of China, then of course, you are the biggest financial operation that we have in the country, then it will be strictly regulated with how it works. However, for normal businesses or foreign businesses that we have been working with in the past, do not obtain such data sets. And even though there are regulations in place, it should not affect too much of how we think about it and how we operate our business drastically. And on top of that, in Odoo, we do offer very flexible hosting options. And if we have Chinese usage, based on your case, we might have different suggestions on which path we want to go through. So if you are looking at optimum speed and optimum performances, we do have partners that can help you with third-party cloud data centers in China, or we can host on-prem. Or if you are a cross-border and e-commerce businesses, and you are selling your products in China and making profits out of it, then your website will be required to have an ICP commercial license. And in this case, it will be regulated that all of data sets will be hosting locally, and we will have to go through the on-prem option. There are other questions such as, well, my majority of the operation is in China. However, I do have occasionally some international users want to access the database. So in that case, what do we do? And the answer is, if you have a database hosted in China, your overseas users will have no trouble and no problem to access your Odoo database within the mainland border. There are some other cases where China is only a part of the usage and your user location are separated and scattering around globally. Then we might also advise you to go through Odoo Online, Odoo ASH for easier setup, easier maintenance, good upgrade experiences, and of course, it will be accessible for your Chinese users as well. Okay, so now we explained how is the data compliance ecosystem, how it works, and yeah, it works. So the next question is, what are some of the customers we have been working with in the past, and what have been working well with Odoo in this case? Out of the 2.9 million users that we have in China, not only that we can pay attention to it, just as globally, we are working with customers across any industries, any sectors, doesn't matter whether you're SMB, MMC, or enterprise customers. Importantly, you'll also be looking at 50% of our customers are international companies with capitals in China, or they are Chinese companies currently seeking opportunities or already have expanded overseas. And I will take you guys through a few cases later on. Okay. A lot of people would also ask me, so how is the post-COVID economy, and how have you guys been recovering? Are you becoming more isolated, or you are still connected internationally? My answer will be more than ever. So after COVID, we started to have a new slogan. It's called out or out. What does it mean? If you don't expand your business out of China, then you might be out of business. It's as simple as that. So what it comes with is, from our common knowledge, or what people usually know is, we have European countries investing their capitals into mainland. We also have some other Southeast Asian countries investing into mainland, such as Singapore. So a few cases typical would be, I have a solar panel business, but I open my factory in China. But nowadays, we not only seeing that, we are seeing that it's becoming a two-way street. So we have a lot of Chinese capitals expanding to Europe, Southeast Asia, Middle East, and Mexico, and many, many other regions too. So one example would be, again, if I have a solar panel company within mainland China, I'm HQ'd here, my factory is here, I might want to start to gain my customer base in Europe as well, and started my operation in Germany, so I can simply service and install my equipment in Europe. Or I might want to have more efficiency and a balanced cost, so I decided to open my secondary factory line in Southeast Asia, such as Vietnam, Indonesia. And some of our customer cases that I can show you within these countries will be, for example, HPS. So HPS has been working with Odoo since pretty much version 13 or 14. So it has been one of our longer lasting relationship with the customer. Globally, they have over 17 subsidiaries, and they are a dominant player in hydraulic cylinder manufacturing businesses. With Odoo, they are not only able to leverage our multi-company, multi-currency, multi-language setup, and also our partner are able to introduce a very wide range of usage to this company. Name it, CRM, sales, manufacturing, inventory, everything you can imagine in Odoo, they are using it. More importantly, because Odoo is open source, we also integrated Odoo system with Autodesk Inventor. So whenever they have product changes, we can also be synchronized with their 3D and 2D BOMs materials and do a very accurate, up-to-date forecasting into the BOM changes. We also have Suez. So Suez is a top 500 global company HQ'd in France, and they are a global player in water and waste management. So they also started in Odoo 13 version, and up to now, 14 of their factories in China are using Odoo, stretched through the entire China geographical location. And for them, we are not only able to standardize how they use Odoo CRM, Odoo HR, we were also able to customize how they manage the procurement processes and quality check. Some other cases is Alnasaj. So Alnasaj is a global leader in manufacturing for interior design fabrics, and they opened their first factory in China in 2010. For them, before they get onboarded to Odoo, they are using 3 very different separate systems on WMS, MES, and accounting. And of course, it resulted in repeated work, repeated reporting, and data separation and isolation. With Odoo, we're not only able to connecting all of their 3 different legacy systems within 12 months, we were also able to connect over 100 of individual hardwares with Odoo IoT. Another few cases with other region, J Chicken. So if you have been to Indonesia, maybe you have seen this fried chicken shop. They are a Chinese F&B group, and they decided maybe let's give Indonesia a try 2 years ago. And within the last 2 years, they opened 40 branches in Indonesia, not only just in Jakarta, but across many, many different cities in Indonesia. And for the past 2 years before Odoo, they were able to use the local software developed by the China HQ. It's been working okay, but it's not ideal. They decided to look for a global player that can fit in Indonesia ecosystem, but also support their future global expansion. And with Odoo, we completely revolutionized how they are managing the supply chain, and they avoided their the problem before, which is overselling with a lot of branches. With Mexico, we have Axon. So for this project specifically, we are not just only working with Mexico. We are working with China, Mexico, Korea, and Netherlands. All of them onboarded within Odoo simultaneously. So with Axon, before Odoo, the local offices, they are relying on independent accounting agencies for the accounting reports. So this not only imposed them with the risk of I need to depend on somebody else every single time when I want to request my accounting reports. Also, there's no synchronization between all the global branches. And with Odoo, now they truly realized how we can really manage the global operation in one place, and they have automated their sales order and every entry and records with our Odoo accounting app. Okay, next, what are some of the user sizes that we have been working with? So of course, with Odoo's unique value proposition, we are very cost effective for SMB businesses. This also remains true for Chinese market. So majority of our customers are 20 users below, or sometimes 20 to 50 users. But especially during the last 2 years, we are seeing a lot of growth potential with MMC customers in China as well. Also thanks to our amazing partnership network with ability to really customize and also adapt how Odoo works in this ecosystem. With industries, no surprise, over 50% of our customers are working with manufacturing businesses. So it's also due to the fact that Odoo is China is a big manufacturing hub, and simply this is the majority of our economic sector. We also started to see a new trend that over 20% of our customers using Odoo are wholesale and retail customers. And it also comes with the fact that a lot of Chinese wholesale and retail groups are expanding overseas, and they're simply paying attention to how Odoo can support their global operation in the future, not only now, but also in the future as well. Overall, just as how we are operating globally, we are seeing a very broad industry support from a very diversified industry portfolios with China too. Okay, and the bidding growth. So from 2023, we are seeing 35% of our customer growth in China, and we are seeing 97% of bidding growth. And within APAC office, China is also the top 5 billion countries, and we are bringing a lot of values for our Chinese users, and we are constantly seeking how we can improve our collaboration with the partners and how we can improve our products as well. Okay, we have summarized how Odoo works in China, and it works well, and what type of customers we've been working with in the past. And all of these achievements are all the hard work of Odoo collaborating with our very strong partner ecosystem in China. So up to today, in total, we have 55 partners that's working with us and choosing to build the revenue stream and their business model with Odoo. Overall, we have 48 active partners in China who are working with Odoo very closely, who have good experience of implementing projects in China. And not only they have very strong local expertise and solutions, such as eFapiao, or how we connect with China's marketplace and e-commerce platforms. We also have partners who are extremely global, and they followed Odoo's food path and our customers' food path to expand internationally as well. So we are not only supporting you in China, wherever you go, you will find China with our partner. With local expertise and global expertise too. So of course, if you want to connect with our Odoo team or our partnership network, feel free to scan my WeChat or WhatsApp, and we can have more conversations afterwards. Within Odoo APAC office today, we have over 10 employees actually only work for China mainland market across the sales team and the indirect customer success team. So I am sure our amazing colleagues will be bringing you a lot of information you have to know and a lot of insights as well. Okay, thank you. That's my presentation for today, and I think we still have a couple more minutes for the Q&A. Yeah?
How does Odoo manage deep integration with uniquely Chinese platforms such as WeChat Pay, Alipay, DingTalk, while maintaining modular compatibility and upgradability across versions, without introducing technical debt or upgrades conflicts?
So what's happening is with the marketplaces or the payment options, actually in APAC office, we formed a strategic partnership with Asia Pay. So Asia Pay supports all kinds of payment gateways, including WeChat Pay and Alipay. And with the ecosystem, such as the e-commerce platforms and WeChat business account, we also have partners who have corresponding localized package in place as well. Yeah.
Another question, what is the current status of the accounting localization in China?
So for the accounting localization, we started, I believe, 2 years ago, and so far all the chart of accounts are updated, and the P&L and the balance sheet are updated as well. We are looking into how to connect with the Chinese golden tax system and the tax authority, because we are constantly releasing different phases from the government. We have the product owner within APAC office who is sitting with us, and he is looking into how we can adapt to the changes, and that's in the next part of our plan.
What is the most common infrastructure type used for Odoo in China? Is it Odoo Online, Odoo SH, or on-premise?
It really depends on, sometimes it varies a little bit depending on which partner we're working with and depending on your usage. But one of the data sets I was looking at a few days ago is actually 36% of our customers in China chose Odoo SH, and rest of them are mostly on-prem or mostly with third-party cloud hosting within China.
There is a question, are you looking for new partners in China? I guess the answer is yes.
Always. We're always looking. So of course, you're interested to understand how our Chinese partners work today and what's the partner ecosystem we have in China. Feel free to come to me and have a chat. And yeah.
Which part of data competencies is an Odoo responsibility and which part should be proven by the clients?
To be honest, if you have been reading the articles that published on our website with how Odoo has been compatible with GDPR, it's a little bit similar to how we are working in China. So it really depends on what hosting option that you chose that we will decide which party comes with the responsibility. Yeah.
Does the other Asia SH hosting location suffice for all important data storage?
Sorry?
Does the other Asia SH hosting location suffice for all important data storage?
I'm not sure I get this question very clear. So we're talking about whether in other Asia Pacific countries and Odoo SH can we use important data, or does we concern data set? With other Asia Pacific countries, I'm not exactly sure what are the unique regulations that might be in place, but we can always connect you with some other representatives that are working with other Southeast Asia region and have a chat from there.
Okay. Is eFAPIAO supported out of the box?
So far we have localized the format of generating eFAPIAO within Odoo standard version. Up to today, we don't have a standardized solution yet that the eFAPIAO will be authenticated with the China's tax authority. We are looking into it. However, it depends on the volume of the businesses. So if you're working with small volumes, we have solutions where we still do have manual uploads and manual work that comes with it. But with bigger volume, our partners also have solutions where we can directly connect with you within the Odoo and the tax authorities.
Okay, yeah. And there are no more questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.